Guys, my camera is so on its last legs at the moment. My viewfinder is literally hanging on by one screw. It's definitely about to break. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to a brand new video. This is actually the first video I'm filming since I shared my gender reveal. If you did not catch that, then we are having a baby boy. It was really fun looking through the poll results. It was definitely girl heavy, which was quite interesting. I kind of knew that would be the case just from kind of the messages I was reading in the comments. A lot of you seem to think it was a girl. I would love to know why. In all honesty, I had an inkling it was a girl as well. I definitely would have voted girl before I knew, but we are having a little boy. I did mention in a video before that there were definitely reasons why I would love to have either one or the other. It would have been lovely to have a little girl, to have a sister for Avery, and to kind of even out the playing field a little bit. Our family is very boy heavy. However, what is really nice is that Josh and I will have a little boy together. So for those of you that don't know, we are a blended family. Zach and Eli are mine and Marley is Josh's. Avery is ours together, and now we're gonna get to have a boy together, which will be really nice. And I am so excited to see what he's gonna look like, if he is going to look exactly like Avery. I almost kind of hope he looks just like Avery, or he may very well be a redhead. Both Josh and I have redheads in our family. Marley is a redhead, Zach is a redhead, so we know we both carry the gene. So it'll be interesting to see what he looks like. I'm really excited for that. It is also kind of lovely that Avery is going to be the only girl in the family. She is going to be so protected. She's going to have 4 brothers, which I think is just really nice for her, and also she gets to remain the only princess in the family, so I'm sure she will appreciate that. There are obviously things that I'm going to be a little bit sad to have missed out on. I would have loved for Avery to have a sister. I feel like girls in general are just a little bit more nurturing, a little bit more kind of motherly by nature, and maybe they would have grown up nicer together. And then also there are going to be some kind of things that are linked to sort of past trauma, particularly with Avery. There were things that Avery missed out on and that we missed out on with Avery, with everything that happened with her brain injury, that would have been nice to experience. But in the same sense, even though I kind of was sad about that for a minute, looking back now, I feel as though had we have had a little girl, I may have felt a lot of guilt. Especially as a little girl would have been developing and doing all of the things that Avery will never be able to do. I feel as though the guilt would have been a little bit heavier. Collectively, I think it is a really good thing that we're having a little boy. And you know, I actually read a quote on TikTok a few weeks ago, and it has really stuck with me. I think it said something like, maybe life ruins your plans, so your plans don't ruin your life. And I think that is such a powerful statement. Things don't always go the way we want them to, or things don't go the way we planned them to. However, maybe had they have gone the way we planned, it wouldn't have actually been a good thing. So you just never know, but I feel like that's a really nice kind of phrase to keep in mind, and it definitely helps me get through times when things just don't go the way I want them to. And I'm kind of more thinking, I suppose, day-to-day things at the moment, because generally things tend to go, you know, a little bit ski-whiff, especially in such a big family when there's a lot of moving parts and different people, different opinions. Yeah, things aren't always gonna go your way, so it's a nice phrase to keep in the back of my mind and keep me grounded. But yeah, we're all incredibly excited. Josh is over the moon. He was dying for a little boy. Now I think he would have been disappointed had it have been a little girl, and no shame, by the way. I don't think anyone should be shamed for gender disappointment. It is, you know, it is a real thing, and I don't think that means that you would love one gender any less or any more over the other. It's just that you had one particular gender in your imagination, you were romanticizing about it, and it doesn't go your way. So I think Josh might have been disappointed if it was a little girl. I know some of you guys have asked me about names, and I've mentioned a few times I am very into kind of southern country names, like cowboy names. and I keep kind of throwing some of them at Josh. What I will say is I will not share the name of this baby until he is born, and we have definitely named him, purely because sometimes I think you can be dead set on a name until the baby is born, and they may look completely different and you may want to name them something else. So I kind of don't want to commit to a name. But also sometimes you can choose a name that you absolutely love, but then you're influenced by other opinions. So I've said to Josh I'd really like it that even if we do decide on a name and we're both happy with it, that we keep it to ourselves. We did the same thing for Avery. I did the same thing for Eli. I just didn't want any outside influence kind of changing my mind. Josh really loved the name Dexter, and at first I liked it. I thought it was a definite contender. However, Josh told Zach that he wanted the baby to be called Dexter if it was a boy, and then Zach just, with him being autistic, he tends to latch onto something and he says something over and over and over and over and over again, and I've completely gone off the name now. So I've said to Josh, if we do choose a name, please can we just keep it to ourselves so that I don't go off it before he's born. Anyway, we're having a boy. It's really exciting. We are all absolutely over the moon. I have started collecting a few bits and pieces, bits of clothing. I haven't been able to show you yet because obviously I didn't want to spoil the gender reveal. I hope you liked it, by the way. Me and Avery had lots of fun with the potato. Painting with a potato. The reason why we ended up doing that is because I realised I didn't actually have any paintbrushes, and I'm not gonna lie, being as tired as I am, I was not about to do any finger painting or hand painting, because when Avery comes home from school after finger painting, her hands are blue for about a week, or red, or whatever colour she's been painting with. So we had some potatoes lying around, so we did some potato painting and she really enjoyed it. And I think it turned out really nice. I didn't want to do another baking reveal because I feel like our kind of pregnancy reveal was bakes, and you know, Avery is kind of the face of this channel, so I really wanted to include her in it. Anyway, I think I turned out okay. So today is Monday. The kids are off at school. Marley is here with us. However, in typical teenage boy style, he is hiding out in his room. I'm not too sure how much of him I'll see today. It is his Easter holidays at the moment. In England, the Easter holiday is actually a week before ours, so they all get 2 weeks, but Marley started a week earlier. They'll end a week earlier, so we have Marley this week, but the boys are still in school, and then when Marley goes back, the boys will start their Easter holidays. The reason we've had to do it that way and not kind of have, you know, Marley here when the boys are off school as well, is because at the end of the month we are actually going away for a few days. I say we're going away. Me and the kids are going to stay with my mum for a few days because Josh is actually heading off to Prague for, I think it's 3 nights, for my eldest brother's stag do. So that will be interesting. It's definitely one of those situations where, you know, what happens in Prague stays in Prague. I really don't want to know what goes on. But there's 6 of them going. It's Josh, my 2 brothers, my 2 stepbrothers, my dad, and a family friend. So yeah, Josh is off to Prague. So instead of staying at home alone, and because Josh will be kind of travelling up country anyway, because they're leaving from a Midlands airport, I figured I'd go with Josh and he can take me to my mum's, and me and the kids can spend some nice quality time with my mum, since my dad's going on the stag do, so she'll be there on her own too. So will a couple of my sister-in-laws, so we can have some girl time, which I think will be really nice. It will also be the first time I've seen my sister-in-laws since they found out I was pregnant. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I do have a few things to show you in this video. I've got a couple of hauls come in from a few of my favourite budget websites, so I will be sharing those with you. And like I said, I have got some baby bits that I'm going to share with you, so I think I'll kind of share what I've bought for baby so far. I will say we have not bought any big items yet. This week I am 18 weeks along, so not even halfway. I feel like we've still got plenty of time, although time certainly does creep up, especially with all the plans we have this summer. Anyway, I feel like I've sat here and kind of rambled for the last 20 minutes and a lot of it probably wasn't even necessary. I am going to finish enjoying my tea and have 5 minutes before I crack on with my to-do list for the day. Morning guys, Avery has just gone off to school and as promised I have a bit of a haul to show you guys everything that we've been collecting for baby boy so far. We have still got a ways to go, but what we are trying to do, I say we, I'm not too sure if Josh is on board with this, what I am trying to do is be really selective in terms of clothing about what I buy. This is where all of the baby stuff will be, probably for the first year, and we have about just enough space to fit mine and Josh's clothes, so I need to be minimal. The likelihood is I'll be able to clear about 2 to 3 drawers. I'd say 3 is a bit optimistic, so probably 2. So I mean, baby clothes are small, so I've got no worries that we'll be able to fit everything that he needs in those drawers. But whereas with, I don't know, Zach, Eli, Avery, we just bought and bought and bought clothes, and then we were gifted clothes, and they just had so many clothes, you know, enough clothes for, you know, a new outfit for every single day of their first year. And that's just not going to be the case here, which I'm totally fine with, and I know that baby boy will not hold that against us. I feel like at the end of my pregnancy and kind of into the baby sort of first year, I will probably have some pretty good tips on space saving ideas and just how to make things work with a small space, because especially in the UK we don't have massive houses and most of the time children are expected to share bedrooms. I will talk more about kind of our plans on how we're going to juggle the kids and bedrooms and whatnot a little bit later on, but for now let's get into the clothes. So Josh and I actually did a big shop at Next. Next and Mamas and Papas have probably been my favourite places for baby boy clothes. I'm very particular on my kind of colour schemes and colourways on clothing. I like simple things, and I also like neutral colours, and I like greens. I'm not too into the kind of typical baby blue. I was with Zach and even with Eli I was, but this time round just not so much. So first things first, these are all for Next. I stocked up on first size baby grows. Baby grows are obviously going to be what baby lives in for most of the time in that newborn stage. And also this was not like readily available with Zach, Eli or Avery, but almost everywhere does baby grows now, or onesies, whatever you call them wherever you are, with the two-way zip. So really easy to put on, there's no buttons to faff with, and because it's a two-way zip you can kind of zip it upwards to change nappies without having to take the whole thing off, which I really like. I went with a classic simple set of white baby grows. Now they didn't have these in first size in Next, however they did have them in tiny baby, so that is what I've picked up. Now I know a lot of you are probably thinking, why on earth would you get tiny baby? The baby won't even fit into them, or they'll grow out of them really quickly. But I have measured these on some of Avery's old baby clothes and they're quite similar in size, and all 3 of my babies actually fit into tiny baby for the first couple of weeks. Avery even longer, because obviously she lost an awful lot of weight in ICU before she started growing again. But even Zach and Eli, and Zach was 7'2", so he was a pretty decent sized baby, not large by any means, but you know, he wasn't overly small, he certainly wasn't tiny. He fit into tiny baby, they all did. As a matter of fact, if I put newborn on any of them it would drown them. So I have just got a little 3 set of sleep suits in tiny baby in a nice simple white, so this will probably be worn kind of in those first few weeks. But I just love pure simple white on a baby. I think there's nothing purer than a newborn baby, so white's just the perfect colour. So I've got 3 of those. The rest I bought in first size, so this is another 3-pack from Next. This was £22. I forgot to mention that the white set was only £12, which I thought was really good. These were £22 for 3. That is fairly expensive. I feel like if you shopped in maybe Asda or, you know, any other supermarket, you'd be able to get them cheaper, but I just loved the colours that they had in Next. They had some nice neutrals, and these ones have like little cows or mooses on them, but there's this one, and then this one that has all of the cows all over it, and then just a nice kind of white and beige stripe. Again, they all have the two-way zip. And then I have this one. This one was also £22. However, this is a 4 set, which I'm not too sure why it's the same price as the others, but this one comes with 4. But this one has little rainbows on it. This one has little dots on it. This one, again, the rainbows, but it's almost like a very, very, very dark blue, almost grey. And then the little kind of, I'm not sure if these stripes are black or really dark blue, but the little stripy one, and once again all with the two-way zips. So I feel like we've got a pretty good stock of first size baby grows now. And then Josh actually picked up a couple of bits in the sale. However, I did have to rein him in and tell him not to buy anything over 6 months, because we just do not have the space to be stocking clothes for a year. So he found this one. This is in 3 to 6 months. He absolutely loved this. I'm not gonna lie, it gives me kind of Five Nights at Freddy's vibes, which is a little bit creepy, but he liked it. And there were so many things that I was like, oh, I don't like it, because he doesn't mind the kind of really typical sort of boy wear, whereas I'm really, really particular on the colours. I approved of this because I actually really love green, especially this kind of green. But yeah, he really liked it, and that's in 3 to 6 months, so it won't be worn for a little while. And then he also found this set. I'm not sure if I mentioned that was £5, by the way. He found this set in the sale for £7.50. This is really cute. Now, I'm not too sure if I would dress a newborn in something like this. I think I'd probably end up sticking to kind of all-in-ones, rompers, baby grows, things like that for those really, really early days. But this is actually up to 3 months. And it's just a really, really cute little set. So I think this would be nice for, I don't know, if we're going out for a nice meal, or just something nicer that warrants more than just, you know, a baby grow or a top and leggings set. I really like the little collar, it's cute. And this isn't kind of like, it's almost like a grey baby brain's well and truly kicking in. It's like a grey green colour. It's grey, but it's almost got a bit of a green tint. So I really do like the colour of this one, and it's really sweet and really soft too. Moving on from next, our next does actually have a Mamas and Papas upstairs. So I popped in there. I was really kind of reluctant to buy too much. I ended up buying one thing. I limited myself to one thing, but it is quite expensive. One item is quite expensive, but I saw this and I loved it. I love the colour. It's like a kind of sagey, minty green. This was £16 though for the one baby grow, and it's also got buttons. It doesn't have the zip. So like I said, really reluctant to buy more than one thing, but I think what sold me on it is it says little brother on it, and we have to have something that says little brother on it. So this to me would be like, I don't know, a daytime baby grow for when he's newborn. And then I think what I'm actually going to do for sort of daytime outfits is enlist my mum to do some knitting, because I know she's been dying to knit. I've already sent her some things that I really like the look of. The last clothing item I have is actually something that I bought before I even fell pregnant. I bought this a really long time ago with the intention of sharing the news to Josh when it happened. I didn't end up doing that because I made the ultimate mistake of testing really early and then had a really faint line and needed Josh to kind of double check it for me. But anyway, I didn't end up using it, but it's still really adorable. It says, "I love my daddy to the moon and back." This was from M&S. It was £5. I doubt they'd have this one anymore because, like I said, I bought this quite a while ago, but they often have things like this in there. I just think it's really, really cute. So baby boy is due in September, so it is likely we might still have some warmer days, so this on its own would be good for a warmer day. I don't think a short sleeve vest on its own would be any good for September because it's longer sleeved. This with some little socks and a little hat would be good for a warmer day in September. And then Josh picked up some scratch mitts. He actually picked these up from Primark because they were really cheap, only £1, and it is handy just to have, I think, one set of scratch mitts. I mean, how many are in here? There are 3 sets in here. I think, yeah, it's good to have just a pack of scratch mitts. Most baby grows and onesies do kind of come with the sort of fold over sleeves, which is preferable because scratch mitts do tend to get lost and fall off and whatnot. But if you end up having a baby grow or an outfit that doesn't have them, like that little green one that I just showed you from Mamas and Papas, it's good to have scratch mitts just in case you do have a scratcher. Moving on from clothes, picked up a couple of blankets. Now I do intend to make a patchwork quilt for baby boy. I made one for Zach, which was then passed down to Eli, and as much as I love it, it's not the colours that I like anymore. It's those kind of baby blues and, you know, typical sort of traditional little boy colours. And I made one for Avery, which was obviously mostly pink. You guys have seen it 1,000 times. This time I think I would like to make something a little bit more on the sort of maybe forest green kind of colour scheme. But we picked up a couple of blankets. This one I think was from Primark. Yeah, it was from Primark. It was only £3.80. Josh actually picked this one up, just a simple white cellular blanket, and they actually found this one in the sale in Mamas and Papas. I only bought it because it was in the sale, because it's ridiculously expensive not in the sale. I think it was £16 in the sale, and that was half price. But what sold me on it was the colour. This to me is just like the perfect green. I love it. I love it so much. And cellular blankets are just really good to have for newborns. We've started to stock up on nappies. We like the Aldi's nappies, the Mamia ones. I think they're just as good as Pampers. We do have a pack of Pampers that we got in Emma's diary pack. But just over time, we're just going to keep picking up packs of nappies because you go through nappies like crazy. So I know they will come in handy. So that is everything that we've actually purchased. However, I do have a couple of other things to show you. These aren't purchases, these are hand-me-downs from Avery actually. So I kept an awful lot of Avery's newborn clothes. I kept everything she wore in the first 3 days before her cardiac arrest, and then I kept everything that she wore in the 5 weeks that she was in hospital. I was very, very sentimental with Avery's baby clothes, so we did have quite a big stock of newborn clothes. However, most of them were girls, but I did manage to fish out 2 sort of gender neutral things. First thing is just a very simple white baby grow. It does have the buttons, but the reason that I've got this out is because it was Avery's, and it's just nice to have something to pass down. So yeah, just a really simple white baby grow. Where did I get this from? I think this was in a set with 2 shades of pink. Oh, and this is actually Tiny Baby, and this fit Avery for quite a while. So this is from Asda, and yeah, this is Tiny Baby. So this is what I mean, all of my babies did fit in this size. The next one is also Tiny Baby actually. It's probably my favourite thing of all time. It's this one. When Avery was born, the 2-way zips were kind of just becoming a thing. I think they were really available in America, but here in the UK, it wasn't that easy to find them. So when I found this, I nabbed it straight away, and I just absolutely loved it. It's got I Love Mummy and I Love Daddy all over it, and it's just so cute. But this is also in Tiny Baby, and I can't actually remember where we picked this one up from either. It's Nutmeg, which I think is Morrison's. I think Nutmeg is Morrison's. But yeah, that was Avery's too, and it's being passed down to baby boy. So I think with all of the baby grows we have, we're probably okay for sort of nightwear. And like I said, I like to get my mum's maybe knit a few nice things, but in terms of newborn clothes, I don't think we need too much more. I know obviously we still need some of the basics. We need some vests. I'm not too sure if we're going to need socks, because so far everything we have has feet. But yeah, we'll see. I think we're off to a really good start. So moving on from baby things, and I am aware guys that this video is very kind of haul heavy, but I actually placed an order on Temu for the first time in ages. And honestly, I'd forgotten how addictive Temu is, because they just have so many things that you would never think about but realise that you absolutely need. So I thought I'd show you what they all are. And obviously the best thing about Temu is that things are super, super cheap. So first things first, and this is probably what inspired my Temu haul in the first place, is a little recipe book. So it's quite small. I honestly thought it'd be a little bit bigger, I'm not going to lie, but it just has space to write all of your own recipes. Now I normally keep my recipes in my digital recipe books. I do sell those on Etsy, they're always linked in the description box. However, I thought it would be really nice to have a paper copy of all of my recipes in one place, something that I can pass down to the kids, especially with Zach being a bit of a baking enthusiast at the moment, although I think he will change his mind by the time he's older. But I just think it would be really, really nice to pass this down. I have a few little recipes that I took pictures of from when I was with my auntie a few years ago. She was just the best cook ever. She made everything from scratch. I think I've mentioned to you guys before that I actually have Maltese heritage, so this was all Mediterranean food. It was all so good, and I really enjoyed sitting with her and looking through her recipe books. So I want to do something like that for the kids. This would be something nice to kind of keep everything in one place and then pass it down. Now, this is probably the most random haul in the world, but all of these things I needed but just hadn't got around to buying because I'm making do without. So this is actually kind of like a stick-on sealant. It's for kind of around things in the bathroom. So when our toilet was installed, they didn't put any sealant around the base, and because we have a wet room, I know I haven't shown you the bathroom yet, I haven't shown you a lot of the house, I still need to do a house tour, but every time the water kind of comes out of the shower area, it ends up sitting under the toilet and then mixing with whatever's already under the toilet, and it's just gross. So I thought this would be really handy, and I don't have to use actual sealant. I can just pop this around and hopefully it will make it look a little bit neater, because I absolutely hate our bathroom, guys, I'm not gonna lie. Another bathroom thing here, I've just got some little stick-on like razor holders. So both Josh and I have our own razors. This was a pack of 2, and I just thought it stops them from falling on the floor, because usually we'll kind of prop them on something, they'll fall onto the floor, and I don't really want the kids accidentally stepping on them. So I bought those. Once again, super affordable, but it's Temu. You wouldn't really expect anything less. Again, for the bathroom, toilet roll holder. A stick-on one again, because I don't really want to be drilling into the tiles. Since we moved in, we've literally just been keeping our toilet roll on the back of the toilet, and especially now that my mobility is getting a little bit hindered, it's not so easy to be twisting around when you sit on the toilet. So I figured I'd buy that. Again, it was only a couple of pounds and a stick-on, so that should work fine. The next thing is actually a motion censored light. Now this was really cheap, so I am skeptical about how this is going to work, but this is for our pantry cupboard. It's been working just fine as a pantry without a light. However, there have been times where I've kind of wished we had a little bit more light in there, and because this is motion censored, it's only going to go off when we actually open the door and go in there. So for the price, I thought I would give it a go, and actually if this works and it works well, I may actually buy more for under the cabinets, because like I said, this was really cheap, way cheaper than I've seen them anywhere else. And it is stick on. It has little magnetic stickers, and then here's the light. The light itself is rechargeable. It does come in different sizes, but you basically stick half of the sticker onto the back of this, half of it onto kind of where you want to stick it, and then because it's a magnet, you can pull it on and off without kind of removing the stickers, and then it makes it easy to recharge it. So really pleased with the way this looks. Like I said, I'm very, very intrigued to see if it works, and if it does, I think this would definitely be a really good idea for under the cabinets, just to make the kitchen look a little bit more jazzy. And then the last thing is something for our fridge. So I hate a cluttered fridge. At the moment, our fridge is so cluttered, and to be honest, we really don't need all that stuff on there. However, what we have found is it is handy to have something that we can write on the fridge, like leave notes for each other, write things that we, you know, need to remember. Not so much as we used to, because we have the digital calendar now, and that comes in handy for so many things. But if we're on the phone, for example, and we need to just write down something really quickly, we found having kind of like a sort of whiteboard on the fridge really helpful. But I actually found this one, and you can't really see that it looks like much because it is acrylic. It's completely see-through, so it is magnetized, so it just kind of sticks to the fridge, and you'd barely be able to see it when there's nothing on there because it's see-through. And then write on it with whiteboard markers and then wipe it off. And I think the reason why I bought that is because I am romanticising a new fridge. I know exactly which one I want. I think I've talked about it. It's not much bigger than ours, but it is taller and it has drawers instead of kind of an open door system on the freezer. And I don't know, I really want that fridge. And yeah, when I get that fridge, because I'm putting it out into the universe that I will get it soon, hopefully, I can make it look nice and clutter free. But anyway, that is my haul full of cheap things and baby things. I hope you enjoyed it. I am going to close this video out here now though, because like I said, I'm very aware that I've basically just been showing you things through most of this video, and I've basically talked through all of this video, and I can imagine because of that it's very long because I ramble, which I apologise for, but I feel like I needed to kind of catch you up on everything that I've bought so far, because obviously I've had to keep so many secrets, and I just feel like now that everything's come out into the light, I needed to show you everything. I need to kind of catch you up on everything that you'd missed, everything that we'd bought. So now that we're all up to date, hopefully I can just kind of show you things as we go along. There are a couple of videos that I do plan to film. I would like to sit down and film a kind of what I won't be buying, maybe tips and tricks from a veteran mom. I think I can consider myself a veteran now as I'm on my 4th baby. And then obviously I'm going to share with you the kind of big ticket items that we're planning to buy. Those are the kind of things that we are doing a lot of research in, not just to make sure that, you know, they're convenient and also safe for baby, but also they're gonna kind of fit in within our lifestyle. Avery is always going to have the most things, because of her disability she always needs specialized stuff, so everyone else kind of has to kind of compact their stuff a little bit more. That is just what we've gotten used to. So when it comes to the baby, I am having to think outside the box in terms of the big items that he is definitely going to need, but that aren't going to take up as much space and are just going to be more convenient for our family. So yeah, I do have a lot more video ideas kind of surrounding the new baby, but I still have plenty of time. I'm currently 18 weeks, like I said yesterday, so we've still got 22 weeks to go. Wow, that doesn't seem that long at all, does it? But yeah, still over halfway. We're good, we're fine. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys again in the next one. Bye guys.